Hey guys, welcome back to our chapter book reading of Wonder. We're going to go ahead and get started. As you know, Augie just came home from camp. They got a new puppy named Bear. I hope everyone got that correct yesterday on our question. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We only have a few more pages left. We'll probably be able to get it done today and tomorrow. Let's do it. Next chapter is called Ducks. The day before the last day of school, Mr. Tushman called me into his office to tell me they had found out the names of the 7th graders from the nature retreat. He read off a bunch of names that didn't mean anything to me. And then he said the last name, Edward Johnson. I nodded. You recognize the name? He said. They called him Eddie. Right. Well, they found this in Edward's locker. He handed me what was left of my hearing aid headband. The right piece was completely gone, and the left was mangled. The band that connected the two, the Lobot part, was bent down the middle. His school wants to know if you want to press charges, said Mr. Tushman. I looked at my hearing aid. No, I don't think so, I shrugged. I'm being fitted for new ones anyway. Why don't you talk about it with your parents tonight? I'll call your mom tomorrow and talk about it with her too, okay? Would they go to jail? I asked. No, not jail, but they probably go to juvie court, and maybe they'll learn a lesson that way. Trust me, that kid, Eddie, is not learning any lessons, I joked. He sat down behind his desk. Augie, why don't you sit down a second? He said. I sat down. All the things on his desk were the same as when I first walked into his office last summer. The same mirrored cube, the same little globe floating in the air. That felt like ages ago. Hard to believe this year is almost over, huh? He said, almost like he was reading my mind. Yeah. Has it been a good year for you, Augie? Has it been okay? Yeah, it's been good, I nodded. I know academically, it's been a great year for you. You're one of our top students. Congrats on the high honor roll. Thanks. Yeah, that's cool. But I know it's had its share of ups and downs, he said, raising his eyebrows. Certainly, that night at the nature reserve was one of the low points. Yeah, I nodded. But it was also kind of good, too. In what way? He asked me. Well, you know how people stood up for me and stuff? That's pretty wonderful, he said, smiling. Yeah. I know in school things got a little hairy with Julian at times. I have to admit, he surprised me with that one. You know about that stuff? I asked him. Middle school directors have a way of knowing about a lot of stuff. Do you, have secret security cameras in the hallways? I joked. And microphones everywhere, he laughed. No, seriously. He laughed again. No, not seriously. Oh, but teachers know more than kids think, Augie. I wish you and Jack had come to me about the mean notes that were left in your lockers. How do you know about that? I said. I'm telling you, middle school directors, we know all. It wasn't that big of a deal, I answered. And we wrote notes too. He smiled. I don't know if it's public yet, he said, though it will be soon anyway. But Julian is not coming back to Beecher Prep next year. What? I said. I honestly couldn't hide how surprised I was. His parents don't think Beecher Prep is a good fit for him. Mr. Tushman continued, raising his shoulders. Wow, that's big news, I said. Yeah, I thought you should know. Then suddenly, I noticed that the pumpkin portrait that used to be behind his desk was gone, and my drawing, my self-portrait as an animal that I drew for the New Year art show, was now framed and hanging behind his desk. Hey, that's mine, I pointed. Mr. Tushman turned around like he didn't know what I was talking about. Oh, that's right, he said, tapping his forehead. I've been meaning to show this to you for months. My self-portrait as a duck, I nodded. I love this piece, Augie, he said. When your art teacher showed it to me, I asked her if I could keep it for my wall. I hope that's okay with you. Oh, yeah, sure. What happened to the pumpkin portrait? Right behind you. Oh, yeah, nice. I've been meaning to ask you since I hung this up, he said, looking at it. Why did you choose to represent yourself as a duck? What do you mean? I answered. That was the assignment. Yes, but why a duck? He said. Is it safe to assume that it's because of the story, The Duckling That Turns into a Swan? No, I laughed, shaking my head. It's because I think I look like a duck. Oh, said Mr. Tushman, his eyes opening wide. He started laughing. Really? Huh. Here I was looking for symbolism and metaphors, and sometimes a duck is just a duck. Yeah, I guess, I said, not quite getting why he thought that was so funny. He had laughed himself for a good 30 seconds. Anyway, Augie, thanks for chatting with me, he said finally. I just want you to know it's truly a pleasure having you here at Beecher Prep, and I'm really looking forward to next year. He reached across the desk and we shook hands. See you tomorrow at graduation. See you tomorrow, Mr. Tushman. Next chapter. The last precept. This was written on Mr. Brown's chalkboard when we all walked into English class for the first time. Mr. Brown's June precept. Just follow the day and reach for the sun. Have a great summer vacation, Class 5B. It's been a great year and you've been a wonderful group of students. If you remember, please send me a postcard this summer with your personal precept. It can be something you made up for yourself or something you've read somewhere that means something to you. If so, don't forget the attribution, please. I really look forward to getting them. Tom Brown, 563 Sebastian Place, Bronx, New York. Next chapter, the drop-off day. The graduation ceremony was held in the Beecher Prep Upper School auditorium. It was only about a 15-minute walk from our house to the other campus building, but Dad drove me because I was all dressed up and had on shiny new black shoes that weren't broken in yet, and I didn't want my feet to hurt. Students were supposed to arrive at the auditorium an hour before the ceremony started, but we got there even earlier. So we sat in the car and waited. Dad turned on the CD player, and our favorite song came on. We both smiled, started bobbing our heads to the music. Dad sang along with the song. Andy would bicycle across town in the rain to bring you candy. Hey, is my tie on straight? I said. He looked and straightened it a tiny bit, but he kept on singing. Does my hair look okay? I said. He smiled and nodded. Perfect, he said. You look great, Augie. Via put some gel in this morning, I said, pulling down the sun visor and looking in the mirror. It doesn't look too puffy. No, it's very, very cool, Augie. I don't think you've ever had it this short before, have you? No, I got it cut yesterday. I think it makes me look more grown up. Don't you? Definitely, he said, smiling, looking at me and nodding. Look at you, Augie, he said, smiling from ear to ear. Look at you. Looking so grown up and spiffy. I can't believe you're graduating from the 5th grade. I know, it's pretty awesome, right? I nodded. It feels like just yesterday that you started. Remember I still had that Star Wars braid hanging from the back of my head? Oh my gosh, that's right, he said, rubbing his palm over his forehead. You hated that braid, didn't you, Dad? Hate is a strong word, but I definitely didn't love it. You hated it. Come on, admit it, I teased him. No, I didn't hate it, he smiled, shaking his head. But I will admit to hating that astronaut helmet you used to wear. Do you remember that? The one Miranda gave me? Of course I remember. I used to wear that thing all the time. Goodness gracious, I hated that thing, he laughed, almost more to himself. I was so bummed when I lost it, I said. Oh, it didn't get lost, he answered casually. I threw it away. Wait, what? I said. I honestly didn't think I heard him right. Dad, I said, turning down the volume. What? He said. You threw it out? He finally looked at my face and saw how mad I was. I couldn't believe he was being so matter-of-fact about the whole thing. I mean, to me, this was a major revelation, and he was acting like it was no big deal. Augie, I couldn't stand seeing that thing cover your face anymore, he said. Dad, I loved that helmet. It meant a lot to me. I was bummed beyond belief when I lost it. Do you remember? Of course I remember, Augie, he said softly. Oh, Augie, don't be mad. I'm sorry. I just couldn't stand seeing you wear that thing on your head anymore, you know? I didn't think it was good for you. He was trying to look me in the eye, but I wouldn't look at him. Come on, Augie, please try to understand, he continued, putting his hand under my chin, tilting my face toward him. You were wearing that helmet all the time, and the real truth is, I miss seeing your face, Augie. I know you don't always love it, but you have to understand, I love it. I love this face of yours, Augie, completely and passionately, and it kind of broke my heart that you were always trying to cover it up. He was squinting at me like he really wanted me to understand. Does Mom know? I said. His eyes opened wide. No way! Are you kidding me? She would have me killed! She tore that place apart looking for the helmet, Dad, I said. I mean, she spent like a week looking in every closet, in the laundry room, everywhere. I know, he said, nodding. That's why she'd kill me. He then looked at me, and something about his expression, made me start laughing, which made him open his mouth wide like he just realized something. Wait a minute, Augie, he said, pointing his finger at me. You have to promise me you'll never tell Mommy about anything about this. I smiled, rubbed my palms together like I was getting very greedy. Let's see, I said, stroking my chin. I'll be wanting the new Xbox when it comes out next month, and I'll definitely be wanting my own car in 6 years, a red Porsche. Yeah, that would be nice. He started laughing. I love it when I'm the one who makes Dad laugh, since he's usually the funny man that gets everyone else to laugh. Oh boy, he said, shaking his head. You really have grown up. The part of the song we'd love to sing the most started to play, and I turned up the volume. We both started to sing. We always sang the last part at the top of our lungs, trying to hold that last note as long as the guy who sang the song could, which always made us crack up. While we were laughing, we noticed Jack had arrived and was walking over to our car. I started to get out. Hold on, said Dad. I just want to make sure you've forgiven me, okay? Yes, I forgive you. He looked at me gratefully. Thank you. But don't ever throw anything else of mine out without telling me. I promise. I opened the door and got out just as Jack reached the car. Hey, Jack, I said. Hey, Augie. Hey, Mr. Pullman, said Jack. How you doing, Jack? Said Dad. See you later, Dad, I said, closing the door. Good luck, guys, Dad called out, rolling down the front window. See you on the other side of 5th grade. We waved as he turned on the ignition and started to pull away. But then I ran over and he stopped the car. I put my head in the window so Jack couldn't hear what I was saying. Can you guys not kiss me a lot after graduation? I asked quietly. It's kind of embarrassing. I'll try my best. Tell Mom too. I don't think she'll be able to resist Augie, but I'll pass it along. Bye, dear old Dad, he smiled. Bye, my son. And that's where we're going to end it today. I think we'll be able to finish this tomorrow. If you will go on and do the question of the day, that would be wonderful. And we'll do more tomorrow. Bye, guys.